The chase continues as Jay Cutler places second to Ronnie Coleman one last time here in 2005. I have to say, Ronnie Coleman brought a much better package this year than 1 year prior. His conditioning is up. His waistline is much smaller. That distended waistline in 2004. Guys, you guys were very upset with me, my decision making. Watch the video footage. Ronnie Coleman and his posing routine and any side shots. His gut was very soft and distended. His musculature was down, and I believe with the structures, Jay Cutler was just a superior man. But, like I said, I apologize to you guys. Hey, you don't agree with everything that I say, but I am not in no way, shape, or form going to retract my statements. I watched the video again, and I'm not going to disagree with myself. You guys would not respect me if I did things like that. But anyway, Jay Cutler appears to have a little bit more of a distended waistline this year than 1 year prior. So was he improved? I don't know. I do know that Ronnie Coleman did improve from his 2004 showing. Back developments, if you were going to go with Jay Cutler in the front relaxed, then you have to give this one to Ronnie Coleman, making it inconclusive. Although he is definitely not winning in the calves. But from behind, Ronnie's calves don't look too bad this year. It's that left calf. It swoops in from the inside. Do you see that? And from the front, that is very telling. He has a very long leg, does Ronnie Coleman. But anyway, when you look at the back developments, it's all she wrote. No weak calves. You could have Dennis Wolf calves and still win this shot. He is much drier, much improved from 1 year prior. And Jay Cutler, he does look dry for Jay Cutler, but he looked pretty decent the year before too. So maybe an edge to Ronnie Coleman because he probably wasn't losing in the front relaxed. So the symmetry round may go to Coleman. Muscularity round, as always, begins with the front double bicep pose. And right out of the chute, guys, I have noticed Ronnie Coleman, his midsection, it's not only a little bit distended in this shot after 2003. He maintained it in 2003. You could see his abs still, but it's soft. Of course, when I look at Jay Cutler, his midsection is in check. It does look good. But his legs, in comparison, are much smaller, and he is not symmetrical when I look at his right bicep. It's smaller, and I believe that happened in 2002. During the Arnold Classic, he had a small bicep, and after that, never really came back to life. Here's another one here. And Ronnie, you remember I said his calves from the front. They're very small, and I have to say, I got some comments saying Big Rammy's calves were worse than Ronnie Coleman's. I don't think so. But anyway, that's a different story. Jay Cutler, he just does not have that pop, that sting that he once had in this shot. Ronnie does look a lot better than he did last year, though, I have to say. Both biceps look big. I think he would get a slight edge just based on the biceps alone, and the triceps as well, the arms. The front lat spread is a Jay Cutler pose here in 2005, and I don't retract my statement that I made in the previous video. Jay Cutler was catching him in the front lat spread in 2004 as well. He was destroying him. Jay, he's just more aesthetic in this pose. He fills out his lat region. And look at Ronnie Coleman. Look at his midsection. Just a terrible pose. And just think, just 2 years before this, in 2003, look at Ronnie Coleman. He filled out this pose so good. And if you think 2005 was every bit as good as 2003, no, not even close. 2005 had his good points. His chest actually looks very good in comparison, but that's about it. Anyway, on with the real comparison. In which case, this time, Jay looks a little bit worse for the wear, to tell you the truth. He's still doing enough, I think, to beat Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie just looks terrible. His lats, you can't even see them. And since we were making fun of Ronnie Coleman and his better version, let's bring up a 2001 of Jay Cutler. Look at the difference. Everything. Look at the little details from the arms to the lats, the tie-ins. Look at the abs. And my goodness, look how flat his chest is in 2005 in comparison. Just altogether a better version. But anyway, that was just a little bonus for you guys. Jay definitely catching up, coming even closer to Ronnie Coleman in the side chest pose. And I got some comments, actually. You guys, some of you guys, I'm not, just because of a couple of negative nillies, I'm not saying all of you guys. But you don't listen to my comments. I said that he is catching up to Ronnie Coleman as opposed to previous years in the side chest and his side profile of the legs. He's not as tight, not as hard as Ronnie, but he is getting harder. He is getting tighter, and you can see that. And the display of the upper body, Ronnie's actually pulling a different type of pose here. He's doing it the way that I thought I wanted him to do it, but to tell you the truth, I think he's better off doing just the classic Ronnie Coleman side chest. Just looks funny, very unaesthetically pleasing. Of course, Jay, as conditioned as he is in the legs, a little flat in the pecs, and the distension in the midsection. I have to point that out once again. Side tricep. Ronnie Coleman, my soul. His tricep is even flatter than it was before. Jay Cutler, his tricep is big. It's not very hard. Ronnie's much more strided, but I have to point to that midsection once again of Jay Cutler. Wow, he was a little too full, if you ask me. Now, I'm not being political. I am not a Jay Cutler lover and a Ronnie Coleman hater. I'm fair when it comes due. And this side tricep comparison here, look at the conditioning of Ronnie Coleman. Wow. He was really flexed up and tensed up here and must have really practiced this side tricep. It's almost beating Jay Cutler. You guys see this? You know, I'm not being biased. I'm not going to try to side with you guys because you guys got mad at me for voting for Jay Cutler. I'm looking at this, and you guys know how I judge and how I vote. And this side tricep of Ronnie Coleman, this is the best that I've ever seen here in 2005 as far as a side tricep is concerned. Jay Cutler not impressing me whatsoever. 1 year prior, 2004, his side tricep midsection was much smaller than here in 2005. He did not improve whatsoever. The Christmas tree comparison is probably the most drastic difference. If you guys will indulge me and go back and watch the 2004 matchup, I know it angers up the blood for you guys, but the Christmas tree pose looked maybe the same for Jay. He looks decent here, especially when you look at his glutes for Jay Cutler. But Ronnie Coleman, he just did not bring the conditioning that he did years prior or in here in 2005 when you look at his glutes and his hamstrings were very flat. Jay was definitely catching him in that area. So it's basically back to a Ronnie Coleman dominant back shot comparison. Here in the rear lat spread, again, Ronnie really brought that similar package, and his back was being dwarfed by his lower body in 2004. And it's not really the case here. Jay looks decent. Like I figured, this was a decent back shot for Jay. Another one here. Ronnie tilted a little bit here, not very fair. But still, when you look at the lag department, it's just all she wrote. Ronnie actually looks decent here in the rear lat spread for his calves. Surprisingly, he knew how to display them, I guess. Either way, back dominance, rear double bicep, similar thing. This back double bi reminds me of the 2001 Ronnie Coleman. It was a good back then. It was a good back here. 2004, his proportions were totally off. Not his symmetries, but his proportions. I know some of you guys get confused about that. It was his upper body was much smaller than his lower body in 04. But here, he seems to be the classic dominant Ronnie Coleman. Another one here. Jay Cutler, what he needs to do is he needs to put on more size, of course, and that's what he did. And he did defeat Ronnie 1 year after. So remember this shot, guys. This is the last time Ronnie Coleman defeated Jay Cutler. So breathe it in, Coleman. Anyway, personally, I would definitely give both back shots to Coleman. The ab and thigh. A very improved shot for Ronnie Coleman. 05 was not his best year, but as far as the side tricep was concerned, it was. And maybe the ab and thigh as well. Jay Cutler, I think his legs are a little smaller than 1 year before. I mean, the 2001 ab and thigh Jay Cutler was just phenomenal. Another one here. I don't know, guys. How could I dare give Ronnie Coleman a point in this one when I look at those abs? It's a genetic sport, whether you like it or not. And when you have a very unaesthetic set of abs, you're going to pay for it in shots like this. I mean, it sounds mean, but hey, we're praising this guy for his body. We're saying, oh, he has the best back in the world. So, la-di-da, cry me a river if I say he has an ugly set of abs. Jay Cutler doesn't have the best set either, but I think enough to squeak out a victory in the ab and thigh against Ronnie. Now this one here, Ronnie Coleman, much improved from 2004, the most muscular. I actually like the 2005 most muscular better than the 2003. So there's another shot for 2005 that I much prefer. Very wide clavicle for Jay. He was full, distended midsection, but in a shot like this, Jay Cutler actually looks pretty decent. Another version here. And you can see that I wasn't screwing up the sizes. Jay does look very wide in the chest here. This one might be hurting Ronnie. I think it's right after he just strike the pose, so it doesn't look quite perfect, but I think the combination of the two, Ronnie would get the most muscular. And if you do watch the other video, the 2004, Jay was destroying Ronnie in the shot. Ronnie was down in his muscularity, and the distended midsection with the bigger structure really hurt him, and Jay might even have looked a little bit better. Either way, Ronnie Coleman, in my opinion, definitely fend off Jay for 1 more year. But I do not retract my statement. I think Jay caught Ronnie sleeping in 04. But that's just me. And I am definitely the odd man out in that decision. But when it comes to making those decisions, I make them and I stick with them. 2005, Ronnie Coleman, much improved from 2004. I can't wait for the next one. And this is what it's all about. Jay Cutler catches Ronnie in 2006. Going to be a good one. Will I agree with the judges? I don't know. Surely I will let you know if I do disagree with them. Hit thumbs up on this one, guys, if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Have a great day.